Where's the other one? Ashley. Oh. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Ashley. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Aurora. This is my first time checking out 1 Million Cups here.
How'd you hear about us?
I actually went to the chapter in the DC area when I lived out there.
Okay.
I moved to Denver a couple of years ago, but I'm just now getting around to trying it out again. It was a really great chapter, and I loved going to those events. So it's great to be here now.
Well, I would say you should have been here earlier, but I'm also thankful that you are here. So
yeah, it took me longer than it should have. You know, my excuse for a while was that I was pregnant and then I had a newborn and then COVID, but I could have made it happen.
I think you need more excuses. No worries.
How many people you
need? Good morning. I was on mute.
Is it Zoe or
no, it's not. Those are my not my girls. Those are our girls that actually speak for us on Zoom. So they went in and changed the Zoom name to their name. We have a couple of girls we call our CTO, our junior CTO, and our CLO. Our junior CTO and our junior CEO. So we have a site that we're developing for them, and they speak for us for high schools and middle schools.
Well, I can teach you how to change your Zoom name.
Yeah, I need to do that.
In your square,
yeah.
In your square, there's a top right corner. There should be a blue small square that appears with 3 dots. If you hit there's 3 dots, it'll say come up with a new menu and rename, and go ahead and rename yourself.
And that won't change it permanently, so it'll go back to Zoe's name when she logs in next.
Yeah. What do you do for work, Ashley?
I am an operations consultant. I work with entrepreneurs who are making that transition from solo to having a team. So help them hire their first assistant and build their systems to be able to work with that person.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah, very
cool. It's been great.
I work for a small SaaS company.
Okay.
I just hired, or I'm in the process of hiring 2 people. Currently it's me and developer, and I'm hiring a sales person and a customer success person.
That's great.
Yeah.
When did you start the company?
It's been around. So I work for a private equity firm that owns 10 other SaaS companies.
Sure.
And it's been this company that they purchased. It's been around since 8 years or so.
Oh, okay.
Wow. It used to be a VC-backed company, 50 employees. They bought it, leaned it down to myself and another developer, and we really got a hold of the company, changed some things, and now we're ready to grow. So now we're hiring, and hopefully that's going to lead to more sales. So yeah, I'm overwhelmed. I have too much on my plate right now.
I can imagine. That sounds like a lot to take a company from 50 people to 2 and then back up again.
Yeah. It's a roller coaster ride. I always have something to do, which is good and a bad thing.
Yeah, makes sense. What's the software for? Like what?
It's a B2B software to help developers not have to manage their servers. It's a high level way of explaining it. There's more to it. It's called iron.io is one. And then I also manage another company called Ring Captcha that does OTP verification. So any code that you get when you sign up for a web page, we provide that service for businesses
Gotcha.
as well.
That's great. How about you, Dr. Scallion? Or do you want to go by
Yes.
Tony?
Oh, Tony, it's fine. Red House Virtual Education is my company. I'm one of the presenters today. So we are a managed service provider for platform services. So we develop platforms for schools, and we're a Microsoft startup, and we're a Microsoft education partner. So we actually do this for Microsoft. So we've been working with the historical Black college community in developing their new platforms.
Mhm.
And working with one of their major schools first, which is their legal school, and then we'll push it across about 100 of their historical Black colleges.
Mm.
And then we also build mixed reality software development. So we're building a new mixed reality environment for schools where they can interact using the HoloLens
Mm.
virtually, and different simulations in that environment, from medical sims to
Mhm.
aviation sims, a number of different simulations they'll be able to use. So
Mhm.
that's pretty much what we do. I started the company about me and Marquez White, which is right here. My
Mhm.
CTO started the company about 3 years ago.
Mm. I'm sure this year has been quite the year. As
It has,
everyone
it has, it has.
maybe hesitant to go virtual is all of a sudden now needing to learn how to do that.
Well, the good thing about us is we've always been virtual. So
Mm.
it's hasn't really affected us that much because we pivoted prior to Corona. We was actually featured on K-12 education's commercials, and they did those commercials before Corona. And
Mm.
they told us Corona was really a boost for us as a concept company that they kind of bought into first.
Mhm.
So they gave us a contract, said they would, as the pandemic kind of tankers down because they're doing really good now, we would redevelop their whole platform solution,
Gotcha.
which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah, there's more and more opportunity for that kind of thing now, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yes.
Ashley, do you have a certain industry you work towards, or you pretty flexible?
Yeah, so my main group of clients are online marketing entrepreneurs and small agencies. So copywriters, brand agencies, marketing agencies, those kinds of people.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been virtual from the beginning too, and most of my clients are. So it's kind of at that point where they've built something up themselves and now they're hitting a ceiling. And the operational structure piece is usually an overwhelming step for especially creatives who started a business because they wanted a nice lifestyle and they wanted to write. Right.
And they got too creative.
Yeah. So yeah, I want, my big mission is to help them learn how to use systems to enable creativity rather than seeing it as this big straitjacket that's going to make them stuck in the minutia for the rest of their lives.
Right.
So
what are some of your favorite systems?
So we help people pick a lot of different software tools. We, work with things like 17 Hats and Dubsado, all the big kind of workflow tools for freelancers and small businesses.
Okay.
But a lot of what we do is just kind of how they plan, how they manage their time and their days, and how they streamline their customer experiences, build some consistency in. Because a lot of freelancers will take what work comes to them, right, and change it up every time. And at a certain point, that stops working out. So we help them.
Don't you always hate the freeze?
Yeah, I was hoping she would come back. Well, Tony, what are you a doctor in?
Doctor in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math.
Okay. Where'd you go to school for that?
University of Pittsburgh.
Nice. I really like Pittsburgh's layout, where the football stadium is kind of like on the top of the city.
Yes.
Great view. I thought that was pretty cool. How's the football team this year? I don't know if you follow it.
I really don't follow the football team. I just want to get the degree.
Gotcha.
I have enough degrees. I think I got probably a slew of schools under my belt, from University of Texas all the way to University of Pittsburgh. So after one football team, you stop being a fan of the rest. All you're
Yeah.
there, you're the local nerd. You don't get to know anybody. You jump in, get your degree, and graduate by yourself and get out. So that's usually what you do.
What
Not-
other degrees do you have?
I have a master's in education, science, technology, and math. I have a master's in leadership. I used to be a director of schools in the DFW area. My bachelor's in information systems. So just, local guy that takes a lot of classes.
And what's the next degree you're going to get then? Or if you had a choice, what degree
My
would you like
degree,
to get?
my degree, my PhD is now in entrepreneurship, because all the acronyms and everything I have learned in the last couple of years was not a part of any course that I have ever taken in my life. So it has definitely been entrepreneurship, scaling, pivoting, all the words that you could possibly think of on how to do. Those are not things that they tell entrepreneurs any day. And that's why every time an entrepreneur starts a business and they think it's going to be something that's going to be superstardom right away, it never happens. And I'm an old track guy, so I speak at Microsoft Startup for startups, and I always tell them I used to sprint, and it would be like the adrenaline flow. But during the time, the preparation, it was always the thing. Prep for um, a 14-second race, because I did the hurdles, right? Or 13-second or 12-second race. Prep. How do you get over this hurdle? How do you take this right step? All those things were a full week, 2 week, 3 week, maybe even if you might not get it right until the end, right before the championship. So if you think about that preparation, you learned a lot all the way through those things. So connecting that type of sport and thinking about sports in general, how athletes prep, come down to the fact that entrepreneurship and being a true entrepreneur is not a sprint, it is a marathon. So if you don't learn that part, then you won't be successful. If you're looking for that fast, you won't have longevity. You won't be able to scale. You won't be able to grow. You won't be able to do all the things that she's saying when it comes to your business. You won't know the right tools to use. You won't know the right models that you have to learn. You won't know the right acronyms. You won't know how to talk to the right people the right way. So that's my PhD that I've gotten in the last couple of years.
Nice.
That is exactly the degree I have right now. And we've been doing pretty good at even roadmap. I wrote a roadmap 3 years ago. Me and Marquez wrote a roadmap 3 years ago on what we're doing. And it's just now being successful right now.
Takes time.
So that is just if 3 years it takes me 3 years to get my PhD. It took 3 years to be successful in this.
Definitely. Tony, real quick, I gave you access to be a co-host. Do you want to practice sharing your screen?
Sure.
So we have a smooth transition. Our other presenter is not here. Where is he? It's Tim. Hopefully he'll show up.
Okay, I chose a screen, but it's not letting me click the share. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Looks great. Got a lot of files on your desktop.
Okay, there you go. Can y'all see it?
Yeah.
All right, great.
It's great.
No, this is Tim, and I'm here.
Oh, you're Tim?
Yep.
Okay, it just says iPhone on your square. So I didn't know who you were, but great, Tim. Glad you're here. Tim, I can also make you a co-host. Do you want to practice sharing your screen?
Actually, I'll be honest. I'm a little sick. I'm just gonna do it on my phone. I'll just give you the elevator pitch, and I can explain it.
Okay.
I'll crush it. So my product is
Tim,
clothing.
we'll do it later.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet, but I'm glad you're here. We'll have Tony speak, and then after his presentation, you'll have your your fame for 20 minutes or so. All right. Cool.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. I'm glad you're excited to present. And usually have a lot more people jump in last minute, but we'll get going then. Let me share my screen. Oh, actually, let me share a bunch of links first. Here is chat. I'm gonna overload you guys with a bunch of links there. Links to the slide deck, our website, YouTube, my link if you guys want to connect with me on LinkedIn, you can, and also the presenting links as well. Share my screen. Before we get started, please mute yourself when you're not speaking. When we do the Q&A portion, please use the raise hand button in Zoom to ask a question so I know who has a question. You're welcome to use the chat feature in Zoom to share links or also connect with other people as well. And to make it easier so we get to know each other a little bit better, in Zoom, in your square, top right corner, you can select rename. Maybe do first name, job title, or do first name company who you work for so we get to know each other a little bit better. And now we're going to get going.
1 Million Cups is a weekly educational program developed by the Kaufman Foundation.
Over the years, we've added more cities. Creates a great energy here to see what's happening across the country.
What I've learned from other entrepreneurs is very, very valuable. Sitting in a room with other people that have ideas too, it helps people to leave thinking, you know what, my idea is worth something. It's worth pursuing. It's worth going after it. Even if it looks like a challenge, I should still go out and try to do it.
Good morning, my Hollywood squares. That's what I see when I look at you guys. My name is Nick Campion. I'll be your MC for today. 1 Million Cups Denver. We meet every Wednesday at 9 a.m. via Zoom until further notice. We do virtual coffee or tea if you're a tea drinker. We have a mug. Want to show it off? This is your opportunity. We do 6-minute presentations, not pitches. We're here to connect, not network. After the presentations, we will have 15 to 20 minutes of audience feedback and questions. This is a great place for entrepreneurs to be vulnerable, open, and transparent. And this is a place for discussing ideas, not people. By a show of hands, who's new to 1 Million Cups today? Ashley, awesome. Okay, I'm gonna share a Zoom poll. If you're new to 1 Million Cups, please let us know. If you're an entrepreneur, let us know as well. And the question for today is, what is your favorite large coffee chain? This was the list I came up with. So I would love to see what the room likes. And at the end, I will present the winning largest coffee chain. Moving on. Lost my screens. Sorry, I had my slides and they went away. This is embarrassing. There it is. Okay, so if you guys don't know, 1 Million Cups does have a website. It's 1millioncups.com/Denver. It's a great place to follow us, find out who's presenting each week, also sign up for our weekly newsletter. Quick shout out to our sponsors. When we go back live, it might be at Enterprise. They're one of our sponsors. You have Founder and Craft. We also have Middle State Coffee, Good Elephant, Pono Media, Color Learning Source, Rocky Mountain Photography, The Commons on Champa, and WeWork Labs. Let's give all of them a big round of applause. Now we're going to move into volunteer introductions. Looking for 3 people to introduce themselves, name, what they do, how they heard about us, anything else they'd like to share. Do you have any volunteers in the room? If not, I'm just going to call on 3 random people. Anybody want to share something about themselves today? How about Ashley? Go for it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley Berghoff. This is my first time at 1 Million Cups. I heard about the organization when I lived in the DC area for a few years and went to that for about a year when I first started my business and then moved here about 2 years ago. I started my business in 2017. We support entrepreneurs at capacity to help them build their operational structure and hire their first team members. So kind of making that transition from solo entrepreneur to team-based business that can grow beyond them. So that's what I do. It's great to be here.
Thanks, Ashley. Any other volunteers? If not, I'm gonna call on, hey, Chad. I'd love to hear from Chad. You there? See your hat.
Here, well, let me stand up. Does that help?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, I can't see what you guys are seeing, so I'm having some computer difficulties, but
I see
yeah,
a beautiful person.
Yep, my name's Chad Lawrenson. I am with SpinUps, actually. I'm going to be presenting next week, so wanted to come on and just get kind of reacquainted with the group. I was introduced to 1 Million Cups quite a few years ago, back when I was living in Fargo, North Dakota. Had some opportunities to participate in those events, fell in love with them, just love what the community is all about. I did get involved with the Denver 1 Million Cups when I first moved out here, and now just finding out that they're happening online. So I'm happy to get re-involved with them again.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Chad.
You bet.
One more. Let's see. Evan, are you there? Or Evans Hedges?
Hi, yeah, I'm here. Unfortunately, I can't really use my camera today, but I am here. My name's Evans. I'm a grad student at the University of Denver, and I'm part of the Pioneer Venture Group, which is a grad student-run venture capital fund operating out of University of Denver. This is my first time at 1 Million Cups, and yeah, excited to just kind of see what this is all about and check it out.
Awesome. How'd you hear about us?
So we have a sort of a group of grad students in the Pioneer Venture Group, and some of them have been kind of dedicated to finding all sorts of events. And one of them found this event. I'm not exactly sure how, but I found out about it through them.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. Okay. Well, thanks for the introductions. Later today, if we have time, we're going to do some community announcements. So if you have anything you want to share with the room, start thinking of what you might want to say. Here at 1 Million Cups Denver, we have a variety of different presentation types that you can do during your presentation. If you have an idea, you just started thinking of something and you want to get some feedback on it, you can present that idea and give you some feedback. If you already have a product, you're on a market, you have customers, this is a great platform to present that and get some feedback. If you're already ready to raise some money and have a presentation for presenters, this is a great place to practice that. If you're a business expert in marketing, finance, what's some other, or development, if you want to present your expertise, a 6-minute presentation, we'd love to hear that as well. If you're an organization related to startups or businesses, we're open to those type of presentations. And if you're a past presenter, we'd love to get an update on how you're doing as well. Now moving on to our first presentation, which is REDHOUSE Virtual Education. REDHOUSE Virtual Education is creating immersive, interactive, sorry, my mouth is really dry, and engaging mixed reality software applications for educational use. Let's give a big round of applause to Tony and REDHOUSE Virtual Education. Whew.
Hello, everyone. Let's share my screen with you guys. It's not letting me share. Share. Yep. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Tony Scallion. I'm a CEO of REDHOUSE Virtual Education, and we're creating immersive, engaging mixed reality experiences for education use. So what is REDHOUSE Virtual Education? We founded REDHOUSE Virtual Education back in 2017. We are a virtual reality studio. We develop platform solutions and services for industries across verticals. We're also a Microsoft startup, and we are a education Microsoft, we're also an education Microsoft program. So REDHOUSE is based off of some key things. And some of the key things that we're based off of is classroom usage and platform usage in the classroom, and how do you see your classroom. So we talk about equity, we talk about equality, we talk about outcomes and empowerment. Those are some of the big chunks that we look at, and then we break those down in how students learn, how they collaborate, and how our programs and our platforms are designed. So we look at that as a part of our solution goals and our milestones that we try to meet every time we come and meet a client in development. So the problems that we're having right now and the problems that we're facing in our industry is that the shutdowns of schools, public health, economic crises, and helping our public education prepare for the copes of the pandemic. And children's academic performance is deteriorating during the pandemic. These are some of the key problems that's going on with school districts and universities right now. Even nonprofits are having these problems with their programs, hospitals, and other places who cannot understand how to capture students virtually online. Our global market right now in the global sector that is driving our market, which is called Platform Solutions and eTech, is 299 million in 2018 when we first kind of started piloting our products and start working on our products. Right now, K-12 market is $342 billion. It'll be that by 2021. And then we're looking at the global market of $809 million in 2021. So $342 billion in the education sector is what makes our market really, really strong, and how we're growing our product and learning how to scale our product for different schools. So we are a full branded SaaS model and premise model solution. We brand the school districts with a platform. So we don't just give them a platform or give them a SaaS model, say, here, use it, here's the content. We actually talk to the clients, sit down with the clients, and actually brand their solutions. And so it adapts to their students and their clients. Right now, our client portfolio consists of Meharry College, which we've actually developed a mixed reality for dental and a platform for their education, medical. Southern Law Center, which uses our platform solutions for their CLEs, where they bring their lawyers for conferencing. And they're also building a new innovation around legal, and they're building a distance learning platform. So they've taken a step on building about 4 solutions that we're working on right now for Southern Law Center. So when you look at our platform solution, it's accessible e-learning courses. They're developed where they're affordable for students to come to and learn how to use these courses, and effective to their students' needs. Our platform is Teams-based, so Teams is actually integrated into our platform, where they now can use Microsoft Teams as a solution for video conferencing and collaboration. It's self-paced, so students can actually go through the courses themselves while working with professors remotely. The advanced features for our product is the fact that it does have real-time insight analytics. So it captures the students and what the students are doing through each one of their courses that they're taking in real time. So the teachers know exactly how to adjust their courses for those students. We've built in mixed reality, a viewer where students can actually go search, or instructors can go search for 3D content and add that engaging content, and actually students can actually launch it right in their room virtually using AR, and also using what's called the HoloLens, Microsoft HoloLens 2. So this is mixed reality. And mixed reality, our next scale up in our product, we're developing a mixed reality environment where students can actually put on a HoloLens, and they can actually be remote anywhere in the world and actually interact with their teachers right in that space. It's simulation technology that we're designing, simulated classrooms. So this is how our mixed reality is developed. It's all diagnostic area. It can be used with any headset. Our key headset is the HoloLens, but we've developed it where it can be used with the Oculus and most of Microsoft's mixed reality headsets. Learning made easy is what we call our platform, and that's why we call it Central Vision. All professionals can come and build content right there in one place. That content goes across to every other solution provider that we develop for free. We're looking at raising over $4 million in this fiscal year. Our margins have been pretty good for the last 6 months. For the last 6 months, we've brought in capital from our, not investors, but more from our clients of over $300 to $400 million, $300 to $400,000. Sorry. This is our team. Marquez White, which is my CTO. Stephen Roth is my COO, and I'm Dr. Tony Scallion, CEO of REDHOUSE. So come and check out REDHOUSE at redhouseve243.com, and I'll open up the floor to any questions.
Before we get into questions, let's start off with a big round of applause.
Thank you.
All right. Great job. Quick reminders, if you do have a question, please use the raise hand button in Zoom. If you can't figure that out, send a Zoom chat message saying I have a question and I'll call on you, or just put your whole question in the Zoom chat and I'll just read it out loud as well. So it looks like we have Gregorius with the first question or feedback.
Hey, Tony. Good presentation, but there are a few kind of structural things that, or questions that sort of came up. I think leading with the market doesn't provide enough context. So like you're describing sort of total spend in education, I guess. But I didn't even know what you were selling at that point. So like, I can't tell, like, is that for like, you know, classroom improvements? Is that for hardware? Like, so that number is a little messy, right? Like relative to like not knowing what you're actually making yet, right? So I think I would put the market a little bit after you explain at least what the like, I think you sort of set the problem up, but the solution I think should be presented probably before you get to the market, or at least the problem in the market. But it was a little hard to follow because I didn't know what you were making, right? Sure. And so, you know, the numbers are big, but who cares? Like everyone has big numbers. No one makes a market slide with small numbers. Right. So, so then I think like the use case would be better served after you've actually explained all the capabilities of the product. But like, cause you sort of went into Southern California. I forgot where it was.
Southern Law Center.
Southern Law Center. Right. But you hadn't actually told me what the product is yet. Right. You sort of like the following slides actually went into like more of the details of like what the actual product does. So I still didn't know what your solution is. You use the word brand a lot, but that's not actually, I think, what you're saying. Like, it seems like, yes, obviously you can brand the app to match the school, but it seemed like what you're describing was that they can customize the product to actually suit their needs, right? And so the branding to me is more of the visuals and the aesthetics of it, not necessarily the features or the capabilities. So I would probably be clearer about like how a deployment works, right? So like if you're going to use the Southern Law Center, it'd be great to show like, how does this play out as an actual installation? Like I'm selling this product to them. Like, what did they buy? Are there modules? Have they turned on a bunch of modules, et cetera? What's a typical customer going to pay you, right? Like, what does revenue look like in a normal, you know, expedition like this, right? Like, what can your revenue look like? So if this is like a fundraising deck, I would expect to see like, how many potential customers do you have? What is an average customer going to pay you? What is the business model? What's the revenue model? You know, to the extent that you figured some of those things out. Also, I just was curious, like, how expensive is this? You know, like, it doesn't, like, from what I understand, the goggles are still pretty expensive. Like, there's still schools fighting with getting HVACs put in place. There's schools fighting with getting, you know, even just still computers at them. So it doesn't seem like this necessarily applies to every school. So that further kind of limits the market size potentially. So I think like you've got to kind of address, you know, like that red flag went up in my brain that this may be expensive to deploy. How do we deal? like, is this really a solution for everybody? Or is this like a very finite or limited sort of like arena?
So Garius, you're making a statement. You really didn't ask the question. So
I never said I was asking a question, actually. I said I was giving you feedback on the deck. So I just want to be clear. And I provide this feedback because I've raised like $50 million in my life, and I help lots of founders raise money. And so I'm trying to hopefully get you to a place where you can actually close your round with the presentation you're making.
Cool. Any follow-up on that, Tony?
yeah, well, so the solution that we're providing to one of his questions, the solution that we're providing is we take their branding and we build their branding around a customized solution. So we do customize it, and you're right. That's exactly what we do. We look at what the school's branding is for, whether it's different colleges or high schools or whatever the district is, and then we take their look and feel and customize it. Inside of that, we do customize the solution inside of that. We customize how the teachers work. We work with the teachers directly. We work with the school district directly to really put inside their platform solutions what they need and how they use it every day in classrooms. So they won't have misusage and they won't have data that they don't capture. One of the other things is about the mixed reality solution. Although the HoloLens equipment is at a higher cost, we look at underserved school districts more so than we look at other school districts. And that's why we worked with a number of historical Black colleges, and we worked with a number of schools that are underserved. The lenses are, even though expensive, because we're a Microsoft partner, we bring them down to cost under what it would cost you to get a laptop. So that's what we looked at first. We looked at the inequality of what was going on the landscape of education. Even prior to Corona, we was looking at that. So if you think about some of the solutions and you call them more so device as a service, this is how we're building in the HoloLens cost to where it's a lower cost for the school districts to where they can actually afford these labs. And now because they're getting sole equipment that's so enormously expensive, the students can't do medical from a distance. They can't do, they can't work with industry professionals like aviation companies like Southwest Airlines. They can't work with them. They can't go into those offices. They can't get those careers now. They can't really work in those careers. So we built our environment where it's more remote and it's more inexpensive because you can bring that into the classroom right there with the students, or the students can be at home with the devices on and they can work in that. So that really saves a lot of the cost to the school district, and it saves a lot of the cost for these programs that can't afford, like a medical cadaver costs $200,000. Whereas you buy a set of headsets that costs $70,000 and students can work remotely, they can now have a medical program. Cybersecurity programs, they're talking about them. And I worked on a lot of program development because I was director in schools. And we can't afford that because we don't have the true resources to bring those programs into the classroom. But with these devices and the content built, right, you can now bring those programs into the classroom. So the price becomes almost a unthought of price to school districts because they can write it in grants and is really affordable over having a lab that doesn't exist anymore. And that's the problem with labs right now. They can't be used.
I would still be distinguished. Like, you keep saying school districts, but then you're describing kind of like more late stage education, like colleges and law schools and whatnot. So I'm still not sure which is the market, right? Like, are you trying to get cadavers into elementary schools or into med schools?
No, our market is actually private schools, charter schools, school districts, and universities. So we work with all of them. And now Microsoft is actually pushing us to building a self-managed service product to where we can work with nonprofits at a lower cost. So our product was initially B2B, and now it's more moving to B2C because we just launched in the Microsoft Marketplace to actually work with a lot of nonprofits so they can actually build their platforms. These are some asks from a lot of clients in Microsoft. So Microsoft has us moving and scaling up to more of a B2C So we could actually work with nonprofits, and we can also work with professional companies. So it's really been catching fire, where we are now pushed to work with more companies in this solution and developing, because we're built in Azure, so we can manage their product for them, where they have never been able to build their products, their platforms, and communicate with students remotely.
Okay. Thanks, Gregarious. I'm going to move on to Josh. Josh, any feedback or a question? Unmute yourself, Josh.
Hey, Dr. Tony, thanks for being here today. I have two questions, if you would.
Sure.
My first question would be, I heard you say you guys raised the majority of the money by people enrolling in the program. Is it for donations? Is it a nonprofit, or is it a for-profit company?
No, it's a for-profit. So most of our funding came from me. I pretty much have put most of the capital in the company, and we bootstrapped with clients. So we brought on clients through Microsoft. Microsoft brought us a number of clients to where we could actually, build up our usage cases. So that was one of the key things that being a Microsoft partner was, can you show us the usage cases that really exist around your product? So we went out and they brought us law school, the Southern Law Center, Meharry College, and they wanted us to particularly work with the Historical Black College Network, which is where they was trying to actually land. So we started working with that group of universities. And then we started working with underserved school districts, like my school district that I used to be in charge of, DeSoto High School, and Dallas ISD, which is one of the biggest school districts in Dallas, Texas. And now we're getting ready to start working in Houston, Texas. Texas Education Association has had a conversation with us to actually start landing in El Paso, throughout Houston, Texas, and looking at more of the underserved school districts that can't afford a $100,000 platform solution, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or even be able to connect with their students. They're still using Google Classroom and those things. So this was a good way for us to be able to scale the product and work with those type of schools and universities that are more underserved and not seen.
I see. Thank you very much. And follow up, how have you guys had to pivot? Obviously, I mean, the virtual environment isn't forever, but certainly probably an element of it will be. So with those, the virtual reality added into it, how do you see that growing with this type of environment where not everybody's going to be able to be in the same room to access that product, and
Right.
And how have you guys pivoted from that sense?
So thank you for that question, because we pivoted really, really early, right? We built our VR application first. And that was when we built a math application back in 2017. And which was in more of a mechanical math application and mathematical application. That was what got us our Microsoft Startup Program. So we didn't see that as a pivotal tool in education initially, because of one, like Gregarious was saying, the cost of the headset was $5,000 at the time, right? It was just too expensive. We couldn't talk Microsoft down. We couldn't really prove the concept really well around education. We did capture almost $2 million initially when we launched it, but Corona hit and it pulled all those clients away from us, right? So we had them right there. But we were already pivoting to building a platform solution that connected with the mixed reality solution. So that's what we saw was a great thing for us right now, is that as we build our mixed reality environment, the problems with school is the double pandemic, right? December, everybody goes home. In January, we can't bring them all back. That's just a fact. We can't. My wife's still in schools. I have friends still in schools. I talk to superintendents every day, and they're saying, we can't bring these students back. How can we really do this if we can't bring all of them back, right? So there has to be some type of remote solution, not just for the core content, because that can be taught online. So we built the platform, right? But we built it more engaging. But now, what do careers and STEM and what we're calling the programs that still the federal government says has to be launched, which is called P-Tech programs. What do those professional technical programs do when you can't have the students in the space. So that's where our mixed reality environment comes in place for those type of schools. Now you have a tiered program. You have a program that has platform content from professionals all across the world. And then you have that mixed reality content and that virtual space where they can interact with each other and you can still capture that data.
Thank you, Josh. I have a couple of questions for you. First, Dr. Tony, I thought a great overall presentation. I do agree with Gregarious. I was a little confused from the beginning because I didn't really fully understand the solution. So I would have liked to know the problem and solution from the start and then talking about your use cases.
I agree with him too.
And are you focused on STEM courses with your product? Is that correct to say, or are you really broad with which type of courses you want to?
Well, for our product, we are focused more on STEM, science, career type of courses. Our clients that come to us, they tell us what they're focused on. So we don't really build content. The client builds their own content. We just provide the solution, right? We build a platform that they need for that solution. For our mixed reality environment, we're focused on that area of STEM, careers, professional technical education. We are focused on that area because those are areas that need to be more simulated than core content. So those are our two actual areas that we focus on.
In terms of competitors who are doing something similar, what's your competitive advantage compared to those other
Our
companies?
competitive advantage right now is how we are working with Microsoft, having them as a program that helps us scale. They really helped us. Right now, we're landed in Latin America. We're in Brazil. We have an office in Brazil now where we'll start working with a number of different Brazilian schools. We're in Mexico. So we just put office in Mexico where we'll actually start working with a number of schools in Colombia. We have over maybe 300 schools that are already lined up that we have conversation with in January. We'll start working with those schools. And then Microsoft really helps us with a number of different things when it comes to the marketing solutions and things like that. So we just moved into the scale up program with Microsoft where they'll actually start pushing us out to about 79,000 salespeople in different areas across the United States. So our solution provides everything encompassed in one. That's why we call it Central Vision. So that's what really makes us a little different than other solutions that separate these type of tools and try to sell them to school districts and universities as separate learning management systems.
Awesome. My final question is, what are some barriers that you're currently working through?
Well, our barriers right now are really what we've been doing is waiting for the right moment to actually push in because of the fact that school districts are really trying to find that type of solution. We're consulting them, and the timing, of course, everybody talks about how the school districts pay cycle is slow. Pay cycle is really not that bad. I worked in school districts for 25 years. It's just who you're talking to and who you're working with. So we've been planning with them so that we could put the solution in the right place. So that's why we've been planning with TEA. The RFP is wrote all around REDHOUSE, which is really nice because we've been planning with them. So it's basically the timing and really, honestly, we were supposed to launch earlier, but we received more time. The pandemic actually gave us more time to really plan with our clients. So that's been our biggest barrier to entry. Initially, when I started this, people said it would not ever happen. It wouldn't work. Nobody would just do education. I got shot down at about 1 million cups that I went to, that I was traveling to at the time. I left my job and started traveling to speak about what we were designing because I was so excited about the roadmap that me and Marquez designed. And constantly people said, oh yeah, nobody would go all remote. That won't happen. But now we're all remote, and I'm glad that we had the vision to really stay here where we're at and stay focused right on the product and what we're doing in our solution. And again, we always say our product is really not just about us. It's about the student population that we're working for.
Awesome. Well, I have one final question. What as a community can we do for you?
Well, I asked the community to really, after you leave 1 million cups, there's really no voice around you and validation around what you're trying to do. And as a community, I would like what you can do for me is to be, or we can do for Red House, is really to be our voice and let people know if they want to talk to us or want to communicate with us, reach out to us, come and see what we're doing, and even maybe even our site is built for professionals to build content for students for free. So that's our new launch of our Central Vision platform and the model that we're doing. We're letting people come and build their content and actually have students conference with them and work with them. So we'll be hiring over 12,000 teachers this year to be working and building content.
Awesome. Well, let's give Dr. Tony and Red House Virtual Education a round of applause.
Thank you.
Now we're going to move on to our second presentation, which is cancer detected clothing, wearable technology, that image of the human body for cancer and COVID-19. Let's give a big round of applause to Tim and cancer detection clothing.
I want to apologize. I came down with the flu last night, so if I'm a little off my game, please grade on a curve. Cancer detecting clothing is going to do cancer screening as a service. We're developing, we're working with the FDA. We're raising money to do an FDA clinical study that proves that we can use electrical impedance tomography to image cancer tumors in the body, primarily breast and lung cancer initially, and pneumonia, because pneumonia is easier to spot than cancer. It's larger, and there's a very unique electrical impedance signature that goes along with fluid over a healthy lung. The idea is you'd put on a vest or a bra, you connect your phone that connects to the cloud, it would do a scan, and you do a daily scan every day for the rest of your life. The target market is people with cancer and people in remission. There's 17 million people in the United States in remission for cancer. 1.6 million people get cancer every year. And pneumonia, which is also going to be simple for our technology to identify, is the leading cause of death for seniors and infants. So we're going to make it available for nursing homes and for infants. Basically, if you've ever done a body mass index scale, one where you stand on the scale and it tells you what your body fat percentage is, that's electrical impedance tomography. We simply move those sensors from your feet to your chest in order to scan the chest and breast. And so you'd get literally an MRI on your phone screen. And we want to encourage people to do it every day. That way we can catch cancer as it starts to grow. Our goal is to charge $20 a month, and our primary customer is going to be insurance companies. If they buy a certain number of customers, we will drop the monthly fee. If your doctor, if your oncologist won't give you a prescription for our device, then you just buy it and pay $20 a month to do unlimited scanning. And we are actively looking for fundraisers. $1 million would get us an FDA approved product that is reimbursable within 12 months.
Is that it?
Any questions?
Okay. Yep. Let's start off with a round of applause for Tim. Tim, I was a little lost. Is this a device you're wearing around your wrists, your foot? Can you just explain the device a little bit better for me?
Sure, not a problem. It's a device you'd wear around your chest. Men would put on a vest, women would put on a bra that would image your lungs and the breasts of women and your lymph nodes to identify cancer tumors and pneumonia, which is basically fluid on the lungs. So when you run electrical current through the body, you'd be able to identify cancer tumors or potential tumors. And pneumonia, which is fluid on the lungs, is easy to spot because it's significantly different than a healthy lung. Okay. And COVID-19 has a very unique form of pneumonia that where the fluid puddles in upper and outer parts of the lung instead of lower towards the center, which is traditionally where pneumonia happens in the lungs.
And this device is sending electric current to detect this type of cancer.
Correct. It sends electrical current from one side of the vest through the body to the other, catching the electrical impedance that it passes through. So if it passes through a tumor, it'll change the electrical current, and then the system, the AI, will identify that as a potential tumor. Then you go to your doctor, have an MRI, have a biopsy, and we catch it early. Instead of coming back in 6 months, a year, or 5 years, you can scan yourself every day. Something starts to grow, you can identify that area, then you get back in traditional radiology.
Okay. And how long do you have to wear the device for the scan?
1 minute a day, every day for the rest of your life.
Okay. Open up to questions in the audience. If anybody has one, please use the raise hand button or just send a message. I'll call on you. Do we have anything in here?
So I saw one question. What about false positives?
Yes.
There's going to be some false positives at the beginning, but we're going to tune those out because you're eventually going to go see your doctor, and that those are going to be programmed out. So the FDA study is going to address false positives. Can you hold on one second? I've got a small household emergency going on.
Sure, I'll just entertain everybody. Well, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. That happened more than a week ago. So anyway, oh, more about me. I recently sprained my ankle on Sunday, so I have crutches.
That sucks.
So excited about that.
You're just a shit show, Nick. I get it. That's it.
I know.
Sucks.
My life, since February,
We're gonna
back.
bubble wrap you. That's
Yeah.
it.
I'm breaking down. Go. All right, Tim, you're back. Did you have
Does
any?
anybody have any questions for me?
There was another question on how are you raising capital, how much, and then also an exit strategy.
We're looking to raise $1 million to do the FDA study. That'll be our first round. We'll have an FDA approved product for proof of concept. And then we see our next round is probably being $5 million to roll out and market to oncologists so they know what we have. At the moment, we're looking for equity partners or accelerators in the healthcare field.
Okay. Anybody else have a question or feedback for Tim? Tim, what are some of your barriers that you're running into as a company?
People don't believe it's possible to image the body for cancer. That's our number one problem. And the technology itself has been around since the 1950s. The real AI challenge is to get rid of the background noise. So there's a lot of things going on in the chest and the breast that you have to eliminate in order to positively identify cancer and pneumonia. Those are our real barriers.
Question from Ben, what is the smallest size tumor that it will detect?
We don't know yet. That's something for the FDA clinical study to identify. Anything I'd say at this point would be speculation. But once the study is done, we can put a solid number on that.
I feel really bad because I missed your presentation. I got on late. But my question are there doctors behind this, or is this just something you created? And these are your hopes of what it could do?
Something I've created. We're in talks with several oncologists. They want to see FDA data before they put their name on it. If you know most oncologists or most doctors, they're very concerned about their license, their image. They don't want to make false claims of being able to detect cancer. So I'm in talks with multiple oncologists. They just want to see the data from the FDA study before they put the name on it, because it's their license and reputation.
Okay. Thanks, Ben. Question from Paul. Question about a patent. If you don't have a patent, how do you expect to protect the product?
We have intellectual property filed.
Okay. And I'm curious on your background And also, do you have other teammates in a part of this project as well?
We have several cancer survivors on our team. The way I came up with it is my uncle got lung cancer, and I asked him if there was anything I could do for him when he went into hospice. He said, yeah, come up with a self-lung exam for cancer, because if this was breast cancer, I might have had a shot, but it's lung cancer and I'm going to die. So that was my motivation. How would I find lung cancer to save my own family members? And I figured out a way to.
And you have experience in this? In
Cancer detection? No, I do not.
Okay. Question from Ashley. Do you have any data from your own testing?
We have data from other FDA studies for similar products that aren't specifically targeted to cancer, but are targeted to pneumonia. And the database for electrical impedance tomography goes back to the 1950s. There's a lot of data that this technology is safe and effective, but nobody's put the money and done the FDA study to validate this ability to identify cancer. It's not a matter of if it can detect cancer, it's a matter of how much and how can I raise it, how soon will I start saving lives? Because the technology has been around for quite a while and has been used to, when you run electrical current through something, you get a electrical feedback. All you need to do is run electrical current through enough cancer tumors to determine this particular form of cancer has this particular range of electrical feedback. So whether it's unique forms of lung cancer or breast cancer, you get cancer patients that have that form of cancer. You see their MRIs, you know where their tumors are, you run electrical current. Now you can identify what feedback you're getting from those particular tumors, and then you use those to go out and discover other people with those tumors. But we have a massive clinical database of people with cancer. We only need to run electrical current through hundreds of those so we can tune out the background noise and identify the signatures for those tumors.
I'm curious, you mentioned that this has been around since the 1950s, and why hasn't other big medical companies started this? They would have the money, so I'm curious why this hasn't been brought up in the past.
That I don't know. One of the reasons is before AI really took off, tuning out the background noise has been a problem. So you have to image the chest, identify the lungs, identify the ribs, and then identify small tumors. It's not an easy process. And before AI was widely available, it was nearly an impossible process. So with the evolution in telemedicine and AI, I now believe it's possible. But we'll see. And I have bids from multiple medical device companies believing that it is possible to do, and that they believe that they can get positive data for lung and breast cancer.
Any other questions from the gallery? Feedback? Are they? Go ahead.
If anybody has any more questions, please feel free to give me a call in a day or two. I really feel like a train hit me. So if I'm off my game, I apologize. But outside of that, I appreciate your guys' time. I look forward to working with you, and I'm going to go get a COVID test.
Well, I have one last question for me. Is
sure.
What as a community can we do for you?
Help me get in contact with medical accelerators and fundraisers, people who are looking to invest in cancer treatments and cancer detection, because early detection is the difference between life and death. And we see this as a very large financial opportunity. When you start thinking about putting 20 million people, $20 a month for 17 million people in the United States who are on remission, and the 1.6 million a year that get cancer, or you're beginning to look at major revenue. And we use the reoccurring monthly revenue model, so kind of the Netflix model, but we do full-blown cancer detection for the upper body.
Awesome. Well, Tim, let's give you a well-deserved round of applause.
You guys are doing is fantastic. I really want to thank you for 1 Million Cups. It's a great idea. It's a great organization.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We're going to move on to community announcements. Anybody in the room have anything you want to share? An event, something awesome that's happened in your life? One event? Anybody? Okay. We will. Oh, Ashley, you have anything to share?
I do. I just finished my first draft manuscript for my book at the end of October, and I'm in the middle of a pre-order campaign for that. So I'm really excited about it. That's kind of the biggest thing happening right now. Writing a book about how entrepreneurs can turn their best ideas into reality, kind of redefining systems, why they matter, why they're so powerful, how creatives can use them. So
sounds like a very relevant book to this group.
Just a really quick announcement that the Beanie Sleeper is available now. I just got it in last week. Beaniesleeper.com, a great gift. Anyway, I just want to put it out there because I'm so excited that it's here. There are 3 different colors. Anyway, I just wanted to share that. Thanks.
Ashley and Ben, share your links in the chat for your book and for your Beanie Sleeper as well.
And I just want to make an announcement that REDHOUSE is in the Microsoft Marketplace. So we just launched in the Microsoft Marketplace the other day. So you'll be able to go and read about, and always be able to read about the product and how we're changing the product and how to purchase the product also.
Dr. Tony, if you want to share the link where it is in the Microsoft Marketplace, please do. Any other announcements? Okay, we'll keep on trucking. That's great. For December schedule, next week we'll have 2 presenters. Following week, no meeting, sad face. And then for the 30th, we're going to do a town hall. So we'll open up, have discussions, any feedback you have for us for 1 Million Cups Denver. And then we'll also do some breakout groups so people can try and get to know each other a little bit better. Just a reminder, we have a website, 1millioncups.com/Denver. This is a great place to find out who's presenting each day and also where you can apply to present. I also want to recommend, I didn't make a slide for this, but maybe next week, bring a friend. We really like to increase our audience size. So if you know anybody that likes entrepreneurship, please invite them to our meeting for next week. Just a reminder, these are different type of presentation types. So if you have an idea, you want to get some feedback on it, it's a great place for it. Product presentations, investor, business experts, organizations, and past presenters. Just a quick reminder, everybody here is awesome. Keep on being awesome. Keep on doing awesome things. Since we have time, here's a funny video I want to share.
Hey, I'm standing here next to this large body of water. Well, it's not that large, but it's bigger than, another thing of water I'll stand next to. So it's got more water and stuff, and just look pretty cool. I just wanted to take this opportunity to say hello, and I hope that you're having a most spectacular, awesome day. And if you're not having a super spectacular, awesome day, well, just just deal with it. Have some cocoa, and then go, well, that part of the day was bad, but the rest of it can be. You don't have to throw out the whole day just because part of it was bad. You can have like half a super awesome day, and that's still all right. Okay.
So I just want to make sure you guys are being awesome. And today's question was, what is 1 Million Cups Denver favorite large coffee chain? And the answer, not shocking, is Starbucks is the winner. Quick shout out to our org team, myself, Gregarious, Kevin, Carter, and Allison. Thank you for all your work. If you're interested in joining the team, please reach out to one of us. And the last slide, all these meetings are posted on YouTube. So if you want to go back and watch it again for some reason, we have them there posted. But thanks for coming, everybody. Big round of applause for coming out. And I'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Hey, everybody.
Feel
Bye.
better, Nick. Take care of that ankle.